Okay, last time we were talking about this overriding, and we defined overriding as putting a method from the superclass, from object. It's always from object, from a superclass. But what does this putting a method from the superclass? There's some details about it. That same method. By same method, you mean just the name? The signature. So having exactly the same signature in one subclass of a method that is in the superclass or one of its superclasses, this is called overriding. So overriding means having a method with the exact same signature than one of its methods in the superclasses. One of its superclasses. So when I have such a thing, we're talking about the method signature, but we don't talk about the return type. But the return type, they mean about, like, let's say we have this class over here. So let's say we have this is a class called base class that has employee. This is returning employee. It gets something. This is the name, and this is the signature is this, right? Remember that the signature is this, which excludes the return type. So the return type is not part of the signature. So when we talk about signature, return type is not part of it. So when I'm overriding a method, it has to be the same data type that I'm returning, or one of its subclasses. If I'm returning a type of a method that I'm overriding, like this one, you see, this is the derived class that extends the base class, which means I inherit this getSomeone. And now I'm inside this derived class, I'm creating another getSomeone with the same signature. Check the signatures, erase all, so I can just compare the signature. Compare this one to this one, it's exactly the same, right? So I'm overriding this getSomeone. However, this getSomeone returns an employee. Can I override by returning something else than an employee? Yes, with one condition. What you should return should be a subclass of the one that you're overriding. Because now when I'm returning an employee, an hourly employee, I can still do an upcasting, remember? Because I can put an hourly employee inside of an employee, that's fine, because this is called upcasting. So I can do this. But the other way around is not possible. Now imagine, for some reason, this was not employee, but hourly employee. If I return an hourly employee, that's fine. I'm doing the regular overriding that I'm expecting. But if I would like to change the return type and make it employee, it's not going to work. Or if I make it, you know what, I don't want to return anything, I want to make it void. No, it's not going to work. This is not going to be called overriding. So that's what they call this covariant return type. But the idea is that you can just use any subclass of what you're returning.
Change the employee to hourly employee.
You can change employee to hourly employee, but not the opposite. Yes. So that's the thing. The other part is changing the access permission, which is something that I would like to talk about later, because I would like to discuss with you the different access permissions that exist. So far we've seen only public and private. And let me save this so I can write on it. Access control or access permission. All right, I'd like to open this with maybe with this one. So there are actually more than just the public and the private that we used to know. We have 4 access modifiers or access permissions. Let me just edit. Yeah. Okay. Now notice that the public is a variable I declare in this class a variable v1 which is public. The variable v4 is private. Now whatever is public is going to be accessible everywhere. Outside of the class, like here, can access v1. Everybody can access v1. But what's the difference between these classes? Now A and B are just the 2 different classes in the same package. You see this boundary means this is the package. Now we have A, B and C, all of them in the same package, and this D and E, and there are different packages in a different place. Now public doesn't care, either it's in the package, not outside the package, doesn't matter, it's available everywhere. But private v4 means only the class, means it cannot be available if in the same package or outside. It's not available anywhere, only inside the class itself. That's what we knew so far. Now let's look at this package thing because it's obvious. Package means this int v3 means every class in the same package can have access to this variable. For every class in the same package than the class A, v3 becomes like public. And any class outside of the package, v3 becomes like private. So for example, this v3 here, because it has package access, notice package access doesn't have anything. We don't write package, just don't put anything. If you don't put public, you don't put private or protected, that means it's package. So it can be accessed here. And it also can be accessed here because it's the same package. But because this v3 is package access, all the others that are not available in the package, are outside of that package, they're not having access to v3. So v3 to them, it's like private.
How can I use it?
So this is like in this example. Let me close this. Let's close all. Now I have this package here. See, this class here is not in the same package than these ones over here. These are in different packages, right? Now if I come back in this here and I'd like to have access to a person. Now if I use person p equal new person, it's going to tell me, well, hold on, I don't know what person first, because person is not in the list of the classes in here, so I cannot know what it is. So how to use that? I need to tell where this person is. So what I'm going to do, just to make things easy, I'm going to make this person inside this package first. So see, now I have a person inside this package. Now by doing that, if I come back here, person equal new person, it's not a problem anymore. I don't need to have this. So it's working, but that's the usual thing. There's no new thing about it. Now what I'm going to do is that inside this person, this, instead of being private, I'll make it public because I'd like to see it. Sorry, I'm not making it public. I removed the private, which means it becomes now package. So if I come back here and I do p dot, you see the name is available as if it was public, but it's only public to this class because it's in the same package. Now I'm going to do something different, but first of all, before doing something different, notice the difference between the kind of icons that NetBeans shows you, so you can distinguish that this is package. You see there's some kind of symbol here that exactly is the same as this one but smaller. If it was public, if I come back here and I make it public, I will see it in a different icon, just this blue thing without nothing. That means it's available, it's public. Now if I don't put anything, any access modifier, I come back here, now it shows me, because I'm in the same package, it shows me the name is available but with this package thing. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and move it outside of this package. I'm going to put it in no package. Now by doing this thing here, it's in a different package now. First of all, it tells me, well, person, I don't know what it is. I don't have a person. What's the class person? Because it looks at the same package, it doesn't find there is a class person. So it's asking, okay, where is that person that you would like me to create an object from? What I can do, I can say, okay, you know what, either create the class person, or I can use to import this one. I can import this package, but I did not give it any name, so it's not going to be easy for me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this into a different, a special package, just to give it a name so it will be easy for me to follow. So I'll bring it back where it was, and now I'm going to move it outside. But here, when it tells me to put which package, I don't have a package first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cancel this, right click here, create a new package. I'm going to call it new package, and I'm going to move this person inside this new package. Now by doing this, inside this project here, I have two packages which serves the purpose just to organize. I can organize packages are used just to organize your code. If you have many classes, you don't put them into one place. Same thing like if you have many files, you don't just put them into one folder. You might organize them in different folders. So that's the same idea. You have different classes, I would like to organize them in different packages. Now this person here is in the package called new package. Now if see here, now I'm doing some kind of an import, and then that's why this line, before I can use this person, if I remove this thing, I can still use it. No, you can see it as we cannot find the class person. Now this class person is not available. So how can I use it? I need to import it. So remember the import that we used to do. I just need to tell, well, import, this is come from new package and person. But there's a catch, there's something here. You see the class? The difference between this class and this class is that this one is public and this one is package, and that's why I cannot use it outside of my package. So I'm going to make it public so I can use it outside of this, and that's why NetBeans was just giving me this as an error, because if I don't have this public, this becomes package, and it tells me, well, person is not public in new package, cannot be accessed from outside of the package, because it was like this before. Now I'm just going to make it public, so I would like everyone to be having access to it, regardless if it's package or not, the class itself. Now I'm not talking about this, I'm talking about the class. Now the class can be accessed from outside of the package, but I still need to import it, because if I do something like this, even if it's public, but I don't know what it is, because it's outside of my package, so Java NetBeans does not know where it is. I need to tell it where it is. Now NetBeans helps me by saying, oh, you know what, I see that there's a class called person in another package in the same project, so you would like to import that? I say yes, now I'm importing this. So person now can be used. So package means can be used only inside the same package. It applies to the classes, to the instance variables, and to the methods. It's the same idea. I can use it inside only the package. If I'm outside of the package, it's going to be not available. Now the moment of truth, truth about the name. As you can see, p dot, the name is not available because the name has package access, which means it's available only in the same package. But outside of the package, the name is not available. So that's why this p dot doesn't show me the name. If I want to make it available, I need to make it public. Now public means I can see it. But if it's package, because this class here that I'm using, that I'm calling the person from, is from outside of that package, they're not on the same package, which means I will not be able to see those ones that are packaged. So that's what this is all about. Here. So if it's package, as long as I'm in the same package, I can access it. But if I'm not in the same package, I can't. Like here, I'm outside of the package, and I'm outside of the package. So we know now what the package means. What about the protected? Protected means it's public to my subclasses. It's public to my subclasses. Now the class A has C that it has it's a subclass of A, which means in this, if it's protected, v2 is going to be also visible in C. How about B? Well, yes, it is also acceptable because protected is like package plus inheritance. Package plus inheritance, which means this B is in the same package, so protected is also available. So protected is like package plus something else, inheritance, which makes this now the difference. You see class D inherits from A, so D can have access to v2 because it's protected, even though it's not in the same package, but because of inheritance it's going to be accessible. But this one, E, does not have access to it because it's not inside the same package and it's not inheriting from it. So that's why it's not going to be accessible. So now we've seen these two things, package and protected. And protected is like package plus something else, the inheritance. So the most, let's say, open or less restrictive access modifier is public, then protected, then package, then private, in the same order they are in. So this is the most available one, then the second one, then the third, and then the fourth. The private is the least one. Yes.
The package one. There is no need to write package, right?
No, we don't write package.
Leave it empty.
Yeah, just leave it empty. That's what it means. It means package when you leave it empty. Yes.
So to access private, we need get.
Yes, but get becomes public.
Then it becomes public.
Yeah, no, because when you create a getter, the getter is public. Let's see if I go to class person. Now this is private, right? But if I put a get, where this is a get, my get is public. The method, this is the method.
So all classes.
So it's public. That's why you want to make it available. But if you don't, or you make it private or protected or package, it's up to you. Now you decide who can have access to it. So when you create your class, you're going to take those decisions. Are these going to be private or public or protected, depending on what you need. Yes.
If I have instance variable and with different values, how can I use the instance variable?
In a different package? Like here, for example. Now, if this is instance variable in a different package, now this, I'm going to use the setter, for example, to have access to it. Now, if I display the p.get the name, Now it's going to give me the name that I just set. So the setters and getters, if they are, these are the ones that are allowing me to access even the private variables. So the package is less restrictive than the private. Even the private, I can access them with getter and setter because the getters and setters are generally public. But it's you to decide if it's going to be having a setter or getter or none of them. It's up to you. Basically, up to you that you design or based on what you want the class to do. Now, those with their eyes on the keyboard for so long or whatever the screen is, I like to see your eyes from time to time. So, yeah, just 2 seconds and then put them back. Is that okay for this? So we have public, then protected, then package, then private. Now let's go back to something with this overriding. Yes.
I didn't understand that package. Why use package?
Why use package? Well, in some cases you would like to share some variables between different classes in the same package. Now let me give you an example. What packages are used for? Let's say you design an application. Your application will have many classes. Some classes are going to be dealing with the user interface. Some classes are going to be dealing with the, I don't know, the internals, the calculations or whatever needs to be done. Now you would like to be allowing these variables to be available. Those that are using in the calculation, let's say, I would like to make it easily available from between each other. So I don't want to have getters and setters. I make them package. By making them package, which means they're private for some other classes outside of the package, but in the class in the same package they're like public. So it will avoid me having to create, so it will allow me not to have to create getters and setters, because I don't want them to be used outside of the package. So it's just an organization thing. Whatever, it's better to, I don't want to make them public because anyone from any outside of the package can be using that. I want them to be only public for the classes that are in the same package because they need it. And it's going to be easy for me instead of using accessors and mutators or setters and getters. So these are an example of why I could put them as package.
Inside the package is like public, right?
It's like public.
It's outside the package.
It's like private. So that's the advantage. Is that okay? There's one very important thing now. I'm going to go back to overriding, because in the overriding there's something that we have not seen. We've seen that, okay, return type and everything. If we'd like to have a return type, it has to be the same or one of its subtypes. But then there's something, I don't remember, it's afterwards. Yeah, this one. Changing the access permission of an overridden method. Now when I'm overriding, we spoke about the method signature should be the same. We have a discussion about the return type. But what about the access modifiers, the public thing or private? If I'm inheriting something that is public, can I make it private? Yeah, in my subclass. Well, you just say yeah because you want it, or yeah because it exists, or yeah because it makes sense. Yes.
But then you can convert it to private, the subclass. So I think you can. But if it was different, if the superclass was private and the subclass was public, I think you can.
I think
Why?
I think you can change, but only in the same package, not outside. Or
Not the same package? No. It's not about having the same package or not. Now, if you inherit something, that means you need to use whatever is inherited. Now someone created that class and you like it, but you want to add more things to it, so you inherit from it and then you add whatever you would like to add. But can you remove things like something that is public and I'm inheriting it, but I don't want it, and make it private? Well, that's the thing. You're not going to be able to put more restrictions. You can lift restrictions if you want, because in your class, if something was, let's say, protected or packaged and you would like to make it public, now this you're going to make it more open. That's fine, that's your decision, because it's in your class. You can decide to open more. But someone who decides to give some restrictions in a superclass, you cannot change that and make it more restrictive. Then don't inherit from it. And that's the thing. So that's why it says you cannot make it more restrictive in the derived class. You cannot put more restrictions of something you inherit. If you inherit something, you either use it or make it more open. If it was restricted before, you can lift the restriction of some of it. But you cannot take something that was, for example, public and make it protected, or take something public and make it packaged, because you're changing what the intentions of the people who designed the superclass. They want to make it available, but now you're changing that availability. In the superclass, no, you cannot change it to your superclass. You change to whatever it's in your class. So that's why the decision is not to allow that. You control your own class. The superclass, you're inheriting from it, so don't change it. That's the idea. So that's why you can do this kind of changing the permission, but only to less restrictive. For example, if you're given this following method header in a base class, it was private, then you can, in your subclass, you can make it public, you can make it protected, you can make it packaged, but you cannot make it, you cannot do the opposite. If it was public, you cannot make it private. It's not the other way around. So this is what this is all about. So you can be more open, but you cannot be more restrictive. You cannot put more restrictions. That's all that I wanted to talk about regarding this overriding. So we've seen now overriding. A lot of details about it. The first thing that we said, overriding, is having the exact same method from a superclass with the same signature. That's overriding. Then we were discussing about the return type. Can I change the return type when I'm overriding? No, I can't, unless it's one of the subclasses of the whatever's returning before. You remember what I'm talking about, right? The third thing that we saw is that the access modifiers, the public thing, I can change it. But if I change it, I make it more open than what it was. I cannot make it more restricted. If it was public, well, there's no option. I can only make it public. But if it was protected, I can leave it as protected or make it public. If it was packaged, I can make it packaged, protected, or public. And if it was private, I can make it whatever I want. Because private, basically, you don't inherit private methods. You don't inherit private methods because they're private and only used inside the class. So it's not going to be considered as overriding. So that's all about this overriding thing. Is that okay? So I'm going to stop the video here, so it will be like a video about overriding, and then we'll continue with the next things. Inshallah.